Full house today. Love it. Hey. Welcome, welcome everyone. We still got a few more settling in. We're so excited you guys are here. This has become a staple for our every other Thursday. Who knew there were so many different things we could learn about running? And it actually makes me want to run, which I haven't wanted to run in a few years. So thank you, Zach.
That's huge. I love hearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get you out there.
Yeah. And it's a perfect time of year for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. It's even though the humidity's been a little brutal getting outside and running, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, at least if you can't go to the gym, at least you have outside. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. So those of you who, I think almost all of you have been here before, but just in case you haven't, we have Zach in the house from Physio RX. He is become, like I said early on, our staple for our every other Thursday workshop for runners. And what I love about this, and I think you guys will if you haven't done it before, is that first we learn a bit, he educates us for a few minutes, and then we jump right into action. And he gives you direct feedback. So while we're doing these different drills, he's going to give you some tips as an individual. He'll say, hey, Mark, and he'll give you something to correct or something to try out. And that's why I love this. And so if you guys want direct feedback, turn on your cameras. If you are camera shy, don't worry about it. You don't need to have it on. So it's not a requirement, but it is a cool tool that Zach uses in these workshops. So that's really all I have to say. I think the most important stuff is going to come from Zach, and I don't want to take away any more time. So Zach, you take it away.
Well, thank you, Tina. I really appreciate those kind words. It's awesome. Yeah, and I do I try and keep an eye on everybody. So if you can turn your camera on, we have a good time. There's no pressure at all. These are tough movements, and everyone's learning. So yeah, that's really all I have to say there. Today, we're going to be taking it a step further in our plyometric progression, and we're going to be working through some multi-directional plyometrics. So when we're talking multi-directional, we're thinking movement in multiple planes or movement beginning in one plane and moving into another. So a couple weeks back, we worked on the sagittal plane or linear plyos that are kind of front to back. 2 weeks ago, we did some lateral movements in the frontal plane, which are side to side. Now we'll combine the two, and there'll be some rotation, worked in there as well. So again, this is the most complex when it comes to the direction of plyos. So if this is your first time doing some of these things and they're really challenging, don't be, discouraged. These take some time to really learn and get a hang of. What's the reason that we go with multi-directional movements as runners? It doesn't, intuitively, it doesn't necessarily make sense because running is just a very linear kind of front to back movement. As we learned 2 weeks ago, there's some benefits to the lateral movements as well. And the multi-directional movements basically just add another layer of complexity to things. So it's a greater challenge, overall challenge for your body, for those, important muscles that stabilize us when we're on one leg, when we're out for a run. And that increase in overall challenge basically just improves the overall capacity of your body to handle those stressors. So we're basically, quote unquote, kind of cliche way to say it is bulletproofing the system. We're trying to create some overhead in your capacity. So you have this extra room that you can work into, extra room that you can add challenge into, extra room that you can run extra miles or more miles in a week. Or just increase your pace, that sort of thing. So that's why we're working on building on the complexity side of things here. For the most part, I know a lot of you guys have been here already, so you get the general gist of plyo. So I won't bore you with that. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have some fun today. I think a lot of these movements are pretty entertaining at the very least. So we'll kind of jump into it here. Let's get moving. We'll get into a little dynamic warm up. We're going to stick with a lot of the same movements for now. No need to really complicate things here. So we'll just start with some forward leg swings. Let's do 15 on each side. If you have a wall or a chair or a couch that you can hold on to, that's totally acceptable here. And you guys can switch when you're ready. Good. We'll let everybody finish up with the forward leg swing. Okay. From here, we're jumping into our lateral leg swings. So just side to side, open up the groin muscles, getting the outside of the hip working. Again, we're going to be combining some linear movements with lateral movements and rotational movements between the two planes. So we want to warm up accordingly. We want to warm up, you know, with movements that use all of the necessary planes. Good. Let everybody finish up the lateral leg swings. All right, from here, we're just going to do some body weight squats. So we'll run through 15 body weight squats, nice and slow on the way down, and then rising back up. Getting some of these bigger muscle groups warmed up, glutes, hamstrings, quads. Good. Let everybody finish up the squats. Good. And we'll move into a new one today. I just adjust my screen here a little bit. All right. We're going to do some rotational lateral lunges. So basically, this is going to start to incorporate some of that rotational movement that I've talked about. So in a traditional lateral lunge, you're just stepping out to the side, sitting back into the hip. With the bit of rotation, you're actually going to open up at the hip. So your toes on my right side, in this case, should be pointing perpendicular to the trail foot. And then again, you're sort of leaning down and into that side. Let's just do 8 on each side here. So this pattern is very much going to mimic a lot of the movements that we'll be doing today, especially with some of the bounding that you'll see in a little while here. And go ahead and switch sides when you're ready. All right. And like we did 2 weeks ago, we're also going to throw in a little bit of a side plank just to get some of the outside of the hip musculature firing, get some of the abdominal musculature going as well here. So if you've done side planks before, you can go with your feet straight out, legs straight out like so. If you need a little modification, bend your knees to 90 degrees and come up into the side plank like so. Hold for about 30 seconds on each side. Doesn't have to be perfect. And after this side plank, we'll have wrapped up the movement prep, and we'll go into some of our basic plyos to get our body accustomed to the movements that we're going to need coming up here. Good, we'll let everybody wrap up on the second side here. All right, so while everyone is just finishing up, again, we're gonna run through some of the very basic kind of landing progressions that we go through every class so far. We're going to start just going down from triple extension into the base position. And then we're going to go triple extension into a split squat and then triple extension onto one leg. We're just going to run through them pretty quickly because I think most of you guys have done these already in the past. So let's just do 3 repetitions of each position. So we're going to do 3 repetitions of the drop down to the base position. And then we'll do 3 repetitions each side of the split squat. And then 3 each side of the single leg snap down. So I'll let you kind of work through them on your own. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on things here, see how everyone's doing with them. If this is anyone's first time and they need a little more instruction, let me know. I'm seeing a thumbs up here. Okay, gotcha. So for the split squat, or excuse me, the snap down to base, you're going to come up onto your toes, arms reaching to the sky, driving the arms down, sliding the feet apart just slightly so that you're landing in this base position, which is the hips back slightly and a soft bend in your knees. Exactly, you're looking good there. That's Chris. Nice, Chris. That's it. It looks like everybody else is kind of working through them here. So I'm going to help Chris out here and just work him through this progression. Nice, nailing it, Chris. The split squat, same starting position, driving the arms down into a split stance. Just 3 times on each side here. Good. Try and keep your chest a little bit taller there, Chris, on the landing. Nice, much better. Everybody grab a quick sip of water if you need before we get really going. And then last one here, Chris, is going to be a snap down to a single leg. So starting in triple extension, driving the arms down, landing nice and stable on one leg. Good. Good stick there. Again, just 3 reps on each side here. All right, while Chris is finishing up here. So now we're getting into the multi-directional work. So we're gonna start off with a very basic movement in terms of multi-direction and rotation. It's just gonna be a basic jump. So off of 2 feet, landing on 2 feet. We're gonna incorporate a 90-degree rotation with the jump, just so everyone starts to get the hang of things here. We're gonna go through the usual kind of initiation progression. So we're going to start with a non-counter movement jump, which is that deliberate pause in the bottom position prior to jumping up. Then we're going to move into a counter movement rotational jump. All right. We may go to a continuous. We'll see how everyone's doing with the counter movement jump. And then we'll kind of go from there. So we're going to go 3 reps on each side for the non-counter movement variation. What that's going to look like is so you're going to drop down into the base position, nice deliberate pause for a second or 2, jump, and land with a 90-degree rotation. So you should be landing side on to your camera, all right? Let's go 3 repetitions each side, and you're going to alternate sides with each go. So now I'm rotating to my left, really sticking the landing and resetting.
So are we alternating, sorry, did you say, are we alternating direction? So turn and then come back to the front the next rep and then to the other direction and then back to the front, so on and so forth?
Exactly. Tina nailed it. So reset so that you're facing your camera with each repetition. Good. Everyone's nailing the base position on the landing as well. That's awesome. Good. Make sure we're getting those deliberate pauses with the non-counter movement variation. Good. All right. So as I mentioned, we're going to move into a counter movement variation of the jump, which is kind of eliminating that deliberate pause at the bottom now. So it's a drop down into the base position and immediately exiting into the rotational jump. And that looks like so. Dropping down, jumping up, rotating 90 degrees and landing. Drop down, jump up, rotate 90 degrees and land in that base position. So again, let's go 3 reps on each side, reset after each repetition. Chris, you want me to demo that one more time? Yeah. Nice, there you go, Chris. That second rep looked a lot better. Jai, are you doing okay? Good?
So, Zach, question for you, especially for some of those that are new here, because I see some different things happening with the arms. So, can we talk about the importance of the arms just real quick for those who are new in terms of positioning of the arms?
Absolutely. So, the important thing at the start is the arms overhead, which actually mimics the same position when you're exiting the jump. So again, we're starting with the arms overhead. You're throwing them down, driving them down towards the floor as you begin your jump progression. That will help to sort of decelerate and absorb some of the downward force. And then on the way back up, you want to do the opposite. So you want to aggressively kind of throw them up towards the sky, which will help create momentum in your jump and give you a little bit more height on the jump. So at a faster speed, that looks like so. I actually caught the ceiling there, believe it or not. So again, on the exit, you're throwing them up towards the sky, creating some more momentum, getting that nice rotation in this case. And on the landing, driving back down towards the floor to help with that absorption of the forces that you've created in the jump.
Very cool.
All right.
Good. Yeah. Everybody looks really good.
Yeah, everyone's nailing it today. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll kind of bring it back here. I think for today, we're going to skip the continuous version of that. And all that would be is just not stopping and resetting in between the jumps. So you're constantly jumping and rotating 90 degrees with each repetition. But just for time's sake, I want to kind of move on to some other patterns here. So just know that that is another progression, another option for you on your own. Let's move on to the 90-degree rotational bound. We're going to skip another one here that we might come back to if we have a bit of time. So non-counter movement, 90-degree rotational bound. A bound, we're going from one leg, landing on the other. So starting on my left leg, dropping down into the base position, deliberate pause because it's non-counter movement. Jumping to my right leg as I rotate 90 degrees and land side onto the camera. So going in the opposite direction, that looks like so. Everyone on board with that one? Nice, Becky. Lena's got it too, nice. As you get the movement down, you can start to go for a bit more distance as well. So let me demo this again here. So dropping down onto one leg, jumping off of my left as I rotate 90 degrees and land on my right. Kimberly's got it. I think Jaya's got it. Mark's got it, nice. Amy's looking good too. Yeah, Natalie, I will definitely demo it again. So starting with the hands overhead, dropping down into that single leg land. Nice deliberate pause. I'm jumping from my left leg to my right as I rotate 90 degrees. All right, didn't quite stick the landing there. Down onto the left leg, bounding to my right as I rotate 90 degrees.
There you go, Natalie.
Yeah.
It's tricky. Oh.
It is tricky, yeah. You want to actually rotate towards the outside foot. So if I'm starting on my left, I'm rotating towards my right. If I'm starting on my right, I'm rotating towards my left.
I like that you just did that without jumping. I think for those of you who maybe are still figuring it out, that could be a way to do it. So start
Absolutely.
loaded and then just literally step and turn and then step and turn. And
Absolutely.
that kind of, because I'm noticing it's kind of confusing sometimes. Should I jump forward? Should I jump sideways? So I think priming the body with just a step could help.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is a nice, you know, beginning step that Tina just brought up. So again, just to show you what she was saying here, starting on your left leg, stepping out onto the right and sticking in that position. Or starting from the right leg, stepping out to the left and rotating, sticking that position. So again, like I said, these are definitely the most complex variations out of, you know, all of the things we've done so far. So don't beat yourself up too much if you're having a little bit of trouble with these, especially if this is your first time joining us. All right. So again, you can progress that movement from non-counter movement where you sort of pause prior to the bound to a counter movement variation where you're eliminating that pause. So dropping down into single leg and I'm immediately out into the bound. Dropping down into a single leg, immediately out to the bound. Again, for those of you that are new to this variation is going to be a little more challenging. If you want to give it a go, you know, try and practice it a little bit here, we can. But I also want to make sure that I give you a couple other progressions here to go with so that we're not just covering two movements here. So from a bound, the next step is a hop. And now a hop is starting on one leg and landing on that same leg. So if I start on my left leg, I'm landing on my left leg as well. If I start on my right leg, I'm landing on my right leg as well, all right? And we're gonna also incorporate a 90-degree rotation. So I'll do it nice and slow here to start. You're gonna start in the triple extension position, drop down onto one leg, pause, and it's gonna be a hop as you rotate and land on that same leg. If you're on your left leg, you're also rotating to the left. So you're rotating towards the outside of your body.
So the leg that is in the air should be facing the camera when you turn, yes?
Yes, yes,
okay.
Exactly. You can definitely think of it that way.
Okay. My brain's a little backwards because I'm a lefty. So for those of you who are like me, that helped me figure it out.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm all about different ways of thinking of things. Should that back leg drive up? It doesn't have to drive up necessarily. Wherever you kind of need to keep it to balance is where I would say you should keep the back leg for now. So for me, I tend to keep it back behind my body a little bit. As you get, more competent with these movements, you can kind of keep it out in front. I would say that would add some challenge to things. Nice, Chris. Kim's got it. Jaya, try rotating the other way. To rotate towards the outside of your body. So if you're on your left leg, I'm gonna rotate this way. If I'm on my right leg, I'm going here. So like Tina said, the leg that's in the air is now facing the camera. Good, that's better, nice. All right. That's good for that movement, I think. I think we've all kind of lost count of reps at this point as we're working through it here. So what we're going to try now is a little bit, again, a more complex movement. This will probably be the last one that we work on before some questions. We're going to combine a lateral bound and a rotational bound that we just worked on, all right? So we'll walk through it nice and slow. If we have to just do this as a walkthrough for today, that's totally fine. Starting in triple extension, down onto a single leg. You're bounding out to the side. So I'm landing on my right leg. We're gonna go back to the left with that rotational 90-degree bound here now, okay? So just to show you again, down onto one leg, bounding to my right, just a lateral bound. My chest is still facing the camera. We're going back to the left with a rotational bound. Now my shoulders are perpendicular to the camera. All right, so sped up, that's gonna look like this. One leg, lateral bound, rotational bound back to the left. Okay. Nice, Kim. Good, Becky. Nice, Mark. Chris has it, good. Lena's got it, nice. Tina's got it. Natalie's got it, nice. See, Amy, I haven't been able to catch. Good, that rotational bound looked good. See Jaya. No. Okay, a little more practice. I'll show you again here. So down onto one leg, lateral bound across your body, landing on the right side. Going back to the left, we're rotating 90 degrees to land on our left foot. Nice, Jaya. Yeah, that's it. That's perfect. Nailed it. I think everyone's got it. Good. Give it one or two more reps here, and then we'll wrap up with some questions. I know this was a little bit more challenging session here, but that's okay. That's what this is all about. We're learning with each other. All right. Good. We'll wrap it up there. We'll wrap it up there. So as I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but these are definitely the most challenging variations of these plyometrics that we do. There's, I have a list of a couple other variations here as well that even add on the complexity. So there's kind of a never-ending supply of these things. As you become more competent with these movements, you can always continue to progress and challenge yourself. And that's really what I enjoy about plyometrics. So anyway, if you guys have any questions for me at all, let me know here and we'll kind of jump into them real quick.
You can either raise your hand visibly, you could type it in. We can unmute you if you want to be chimed in. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna unmute Kimberly here.
All right.
Let me just find your name. There she is. And you should be unmuted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So my question is, how many times a week particularly would you perform these, and how many reps for each of those sets?
Absolutely. It's a really great question. And it's important when we talk about plyometrics, especially if it's something that's new for you. If it's brand new, you've never really used them in any sort of strength training routine, I would recommend just one time a week starting to work on them. And the session really should be 10 or 15 minutes in total. You want to keep the number of exercises and the number of repetitions per exercise relatively low if you're a novice. So we're talking maybe 3 to 5 movements. And within those 3 to 5 movements, maybe 5 repetitions per movement. Really just like one set and you're good for each movement for now. As you start to build, you know, you can add an extra set in for each of those movements. And then from there, I would progress to incorporating it twice a week into your training program. That's kind of the broad progression or the general progression that I would give somebody.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
There's a question in the box from Chris. Says, when do you recommend doing these? Before or after a run, or completely at a separate time? Also a great question. It really depends on the person, to be 100% honest with you, and your actual running program. A lot of times though, I will program these for people on the same day as a run. And for, you know, beginners with plyometrics, I usually recommend that you do them after your run. The reason being, you know, sometimes you do them beforehand, you kind of tire yourself out, then, you know, doing your actual workout, your running workout becomes even more challenging. So I would stick them at the end of the workout, at the end of the running session, I should say. And again, just really spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes at most, one time a week if this is a brand new thing for you. Cool. Does anyone else have a question? We have time for another one if you like. Cool. This was really fun and definitely a good challenge, Zach. Again, surprising the type of exercises and drills that we do for runners. So we will be back in 2 weeks. And you know, I had earlier on in our workshops been writing up recaps, but I found it's really important to be here, like you saw with Zach today, where you get the direct feedback. So, you know, we've kind of steered away from that because we want to encourage you to come. So don't think we're being lazy. We just want you to be here to experience it, because it's the safest way to experience it, right? Because you're getting the feedback you need. And it's also, you know, it keeps us knowing that you're interested. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, I'm all for, you know, giving you as much feedback as possible. So definitely, you know, keep coming and we'll have a good time. And feel free to reach out to us anytime with any questions. If you want help creating some drills, if you have questions about technique, we're definitely here to support you and help you along the way, even outside of these workshops. Absolutely. Very cool. All right, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks. All right, everybody. Good work, guys. Party. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Zach.